I have ordered the new reproduction decals for the frame. And then of course I have the front wheel up there and the fork and the chain guard there, fenders. So I want to have all the painted parts ready to go. So I think we'll do the rear wheel next as far as taking it apart and cleaning it. That's what's happening on this episode of Featherstone Bicycles. I noticed that at least one of the spokes, let's see which one it is here. Well, here it is right there. It was bent pretty badly. This one as well. Anyway, I kind of got to thinking I have all those new spokes from the that I showed you during the Schwinn Honey Hole bonus episode. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to repaint the bike, all new decals. I might as well put new spokes on it since I have them. So I'm going to put them in my Park Tool crank cotter sizes, spoke length gauge, and ball bearing size tool. And I see that they are 10.5. So we'll go over and see if we can find some new spokes. So we've got all of our 11s up here on the top, all of our 10s here. And although I have a lot of 10s, I only have 2 packages that are 10.5. It's this one and this one. This one only has a couple in it, so we're gonna have to check this one. We need 18 on each wheel, so that's 36. And I'll have to count them, but we have a full set of brand new spokes and nipples. Well, unfortunately, it turned out that these were much thicker spokes than the ones that came off the wheel. I don't know if that camera will pick that up, but it's definitely thicker than what came off the wheel. I also noticed that, trying to do this with one hand, probably not going to work, but anyway, it's actually just past the 10.5-inch mark. And when I put one of the original spokes on the tool, it's just past the 10 3/8 mark. Almost 10 and what would be 7/16, I guess. So see if I've got something like that. So I have this speaking of spokes guide from Torrington Spoke Company, and they have the handy spoke length tables both for American bicycles and for English bicycles. So I go down the line here and I find 26 by 1 3/4 wheel size, 36 spokes, 3 cross, and it says 10 5/8 and 10 5/8 for a coaster brake and a front hub. That doesn't sound right because the front hub is a smaller diameter than the coaster brake hub, as we can see right here. For the heck of it, I did get out the spokes that we cleaned up before on the front wheel, and they are 10 5/8. So if this is right, let's see which one I'm at here. 26 by 1 3/4. If this is right, that both the front hub and the rear hub are 10 5/8, then maybe it's that the spoke nipples fit more onto the front spokes than they do on the rear spokes. But in either case, they grip it enough to hold the spokes in place. I don't know. It seems to be that's the same all the way up the chart. So I guess it's got to be right. Anyway, I found a pack of 10 5/8. I don't know the brand because it's in just a generic white box, but there are 36 spokes and exactly 36 nipples. Brand new chrome. These are aluminum because I dropped one and a magnet wouldn't pick it up. Or they're something else other than steel. Anyway, these are relatively clean. They've discolored a little bit, so I can just put a light steel wool on them. But they're in a lot better shape than the old ones that I took off the wheel, and obviously they're all straight. So we're going to go with these. Before I take the rear hub apart, I'm just going to look into the service manual and do it by the book. So I come down here to single speed rear hubs with coaster brake. Very first one is the Bendix original, Bendix RB and Bendix RB2. And we see Bendix and then we see RB2. So that is on page 139. And here we are. And we do have the model with the single red groove in the middle. Looks like it's ours. So I'm going to go through the disassembly method and take this apart. Got all the parts for the internal part of the hub cleaned up in the parts cleaner, and now that I've got all the major grease off, I'm going to hit it up on the wire wheel. Cleaned up the sprocket side and the brake arm side off camera. Not much to see there. I figured showing you the cleaning of the inside of the hub was enough. And now I am just finishing up. Oh, I guess I also didn't show cleaning the ball bearing cages, but I've shown that many times on the channel, so no need to repeat myself constantly. Now I'm just finishing it up by putting a little Q-tip in there, getting the old solvent out, the solvent, not old solvent. And now cleaning up the ball bearings. That is just, I just let them soak in the solvent for a little while and then rub them around with a paper towel. That gets all the grease off. And we'll finish up by putting them back in the cages. there's all of our parts for the rear hub, and of course our spokes over there, which we're gonna just hit up with a little steel wool just to shine those up a little bit. And next week we're going to put it all back together. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for sticking with me, and I hope to see you next time on Featherstone Bicycles.